going. Flight deck is back, baby. We're back. I'm liking the cut, Joseph.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
How have you been?
I've been good. I've been tying up loose ends. Now I am back all in and I'm ready to go. It's very chilly outside.
It's
But
freezing here. It's raining.
yeah. But I'm in LA. Operation Goose Inbound. Hell yeah. How are you doing, Daniel? I don't know if I've ever talked to you other than in a chat a couple of days ago. You still there, Daniel? All right. Oh, there he is. Nice, dude. Nice. What kind of setbacks you got? Got it. Yeah, some big ones. All right, let's just get into it, and then people can join when they want to. So today's flight deck. Let me pull up file. Give me one more second of awkward silence. Tamzid, my man, what's up? I'm finally here, dude. You're finally here. Been waiting for you. How's it been going? You working for Blank Napkin, right? How's that going? A few more seconds of awkward silence. I love the awkward silence. It's peaceful.
Sometimes.
All right, I was looking for a document, but I can't find it. It's all right. Anyway, today's episode. Are there so many okay? Dude, I was wondering the same thing. I don't know how they join. I guess they have it like on their calendar, and then the note taker joins automatically, but then they forget about it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna share my screen. Boom. So today's episode is pretty short, pretty sweet. It's just something that I was thinking about the other day. I really don't like the way that zooms in. Um, but organization, such an underrated topic in any sort of business. I feel like nobody likes to teach it or talk about it because, I mean, on the surface, it's kind of a lame topic, honestly. But yesterday I was doing some spring cleaning for the Goosify files in our drive. And I was also creating my weekly, or I was having a weekly check-in with somebody that's under me, and then I was creating a weekly report for Goose. So it was just like, dude, this is awesome. I like figuring this stuff out. I like teaching people about it. So I'm gonna talk about. Should have. Give me one more second of awkward silence. Boom, and there's my window. Okay. So I'm going to kind of walk you guys through how to build a weekly report, what to do on a weekly check-in. And the difference between those is that the report is like a document, the check-in is the call. And I'll talk about both those in more detail. And then organizing files within a drive. I'll even give you guys a sneak peek of like what our drive looks like. Obviously not any like confidential documents, but I'll just let you guys look at it and keep it in mind for the future. And actually, before I do that, I do want to talk about kind of Flight Deck in general and kind of the plans with it for the future. So, as you've seen, Flight Deck has not been really up and pumping for the last month or so. But now it's back. And the purpose of it now is still sort of the same of like helping operators find jobs and everything, but it's also expanding a little bit more onto that side of like creators and figuring out like what a creator or helping the creator themselves figure out what they want to see out of an operator. And of course, helping you guys place with each other. But if you saw my post yesterday, I also talked about Goosify certified operators. So if you stay consistent with us, if you stay a part of our a part of these calls and you're engaged and we really see a lot of potential, then we'll say that we really think you'll do a great job. And even if we don't place you, you'll be able to tell other people that we recommend you, and obviously we'll tell them as well. And then boom, you've got a job way easier than 99% of people. Does that make sense? I would love an opportunity like that. I think that's amazing. So I hope you guys are excited about that. Another thing about that is with Wingman itself, our software. So moving forward, there's going to be a lot more talk about our software and a lot more demonstrations of how to use the software. And of course, there's a free version of the software. If you don't have it already, you can download it. Occasionally, we'll go through the paid versions of the software as well. And the reason for that is that this is the software that we're building is for any community to be operated, right? It's like any operator that's already working for a community, including myself with Goosify, is using or should be using this software. And so if we can train you on how to use it, and then you get hired by a community that's either already using the software or you can convince them to use the software, you're already familiar with it, you already know how to organize it as best as possible. We can help you use it as best as possible. And obviously it helps us spread the word of how amazing this software is. Sorry, I keep looking around. There's a bunch of like random noises. Someone's like spray painting their garage. Anyway, so back to the document. Oh, how do you guys feel about that? Something in the chat, something on the mics. Want to see some pump up action, you know? Some excitement. Come on, dude, it's a Friday. I'm having a good day. I don't know about you guys. I woke up early and everything.
I'm a little biased, but I think it's a great day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. How do you feel about what I just talked about with Flight Deck? Like the plans for it?
Oh, I'm ready for it.
Nice. All right. Back to the document. Boom. Okay, so just waiting for it to share. Okay, should be good now. So with the weekly report, the way that I like to do it is I'll usually just type in weekly report, and then I usually give my weekly reports on the Monday of every week. It usually revolves around the day of the check-in. So like if I have a check-in with Goose on Sunday, then I'll put it on Sunday. Like I'll make sure it's done by Sunday. And so this Sunday would be the 6th. So we'll say 04/06/25. We're going on a plane on the 7th, so we probably wouldn't have time to do that. But so on Sunday, I'll have this weekly report ready for him. And that also means that I'm prepared for our check-in call. and I know what we're going to talk about. I know what to tell him. Hopefully he knows what to tell me. And then we go from there. So the way that I like to structure my weekly reports, and you guys can make your own document. You can follow along. I'll probably make a copy of this and link it in the call recording in the classroom. And then just setting up the formatting and everything. Wait, I don't like that font. Aura, it's pretty neat. I'll usually keep it pageless. It just makes it cool. You'll see in a moment what I mean. And then I'll just write out a report. Oh man, I'm slowing down. Other report number 1. And then I'll talk about whatever I want to talk about. So that's usually like the number 1 priority thing. So what's like a number 1 priority thing? Employee performance. And also just like an update about our staff. Like we recently onboarded a ton of new people. Goose wants to know, or would want to know, how they're doing, if they're liking their job, if they have any concerns. And we also fired a couple of people this week. So Goose would want to know how that went, if everything went smoothly and everything is taken care of, all the details are there. So I'd probably put like employees. Oh my God, I can't spell. Employees. Yeah, onboarding, offboarding, whatever you want to call it. It's up to you. But as I type here, you'll notice there's a little drop down arrow. And so I really like this because as I'm writing this report, it can get a little long to read and a little annoying to read. So if I want to make it so that I can have Goose focus on one report specifically, rather than worrying about how overwhelming this document is, he can click this and that text is gone. So if I have if I have this second header here and I have report number 2, blah, blah, blah. And I want him to look at report number 1, then I can do that. Now he's just looking at that. So it's pretty neat. Just wanted to show you guys. So in this section of the report, within this report number 1, I'll just have it like that. And then, so the people that we hired were for the sales team. If you saw their introduction post, I think they were in 2D and 3D. So sales team, by name, Nico, Tony, Andres, Bryce, and then I'll just talk about them in whatever detail I feel like. This is totally informal. It's whatever you feel like is necessary for your boss to know. So Nico, he's doing awesome sauce. He communicates really well. And this is just an example. This isn't, they're all amazing, by the way. Like whatever I put here as far as like weakness is not like true or anything, just making it up. The only issue is that he's what's like a nice way to say this? He's not as efficient at closing than we would want him to be. Call to close ratio, which just means like the amount of calls. Sorry, there's like can you guys hear that background sound? There's like a siren going by. I don't know if you guys could hear it.
I can't hear it.
Okay, cool. So the call to close ratio is just like how many calls someone takes versus how many closes they have, how many sales they make. It doesn't really, I just wanted you guys to know that kind of terminology. I don't know too much about sales, but stuff like that just helps to know so that you can communicate, say, with the sales team. So the only issue is that he's not as efficient at closing that we would like him to be. Call to close ratio is not that. So going into however specific we need to be. And then I would just do that for the rest of them and go down the list. And then usually by the end of that, I will have a like a summary for the whole thing, the whole team here, or whatever the note is. Like in summary, well, I probably wouldn't say that. It sounds kind of stupid, but I would just say like, I feel like the team is great in general, and I'm excited. It's always important to have your boss know how you feel about things. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, actually. I feel like there should be more to that. Yeah, no, that's it. So you would just go down the list. You would keep doing that for each report, and then you'd make report number 2. I don't know why it's doing that. Sometimes the formatting on Google Forms or Google Docs just really doesn't want you to succeed. What the heck? Boom. Okay. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. There we go. Report number 2. I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? What do you feel like would be a great report to have if it was a weekly report? Like if something happened in your organization, let's go Tamsin. What would you feel like? Because you're operating for blank napkin. Yeah, closing rate, call to close ratio, they're pretty similar. Sorry, I didn't see the chat until now. They're pretty similar metrics. But the call to close ratio gives you the number if you want it. What's up, Mona? How's it going? You don't do reports. Okay. You should start doing them. How do you guys communicate if you don't do reports? Is it just like by daily? You guys just check in whenever?
No, we just assign each other tasks in the task manager, and I ask any question if I have them. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I still highly recommend weekly reports because it keeps you and your creator on the same page whenever something happens. You know, it's great to have like a task manager software, but it's just a tool, and you still need to have the human aspect of what's going on in the business.
I mean,
So,
it's just currently 2 of us, so
oh, it's only 2 of you. Okay,
yeah. So yeah.
gotcha. Still good to have like check-ins and stuff. But yeah, weekly reports, like formal weekly reports, it's not like super important. What's up, Sarah? How's it going? We're getting some people joining now.
Should you include KPIs for the week on that?
Yeah. So we could put KPIs. That's a great one. KPIs. So we could talk about the sales teams, say their closing rate, right? We could talk about marketing team, ad spend, etc. I usually save like really in-depth. We actually haven't done any reports like end of month on data and KPIs and everything, but we're starting to. But moving forward with us, and I would recommend if you want to go in depth on KPIs and everything, that's more of like an at the end of the month thing. If you want to give like a brief overview every week is fine. But yeah, like seeing a bunch of numbers every week, it can kind of overwhelm people with like, should we do something? Is this just a blip for this week? Is it, you know, a lot of factors can go into just 1 week. But yeah, that was great, Joseph. Great suggestion. So that's just a weekly report. And like I said, once you make that weekly report, you usually have a check-in. So again, this is something I write for Goose, and I also have my direct reports write for me. At the same time, we have weekly check-ins. We actually have the people under me, we have twice weekly check-ins. So one usually on like Sunday or Monday, and then one usually around Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And so I just want to see the weekly report once a week, of course. I usually do it at the beginning of the week so that I know what happened last week and we can continue for this week. The one that's at the end of the week or like middle of the week is more so just so that any random things that come up, any fires that come up, anything that the person below me feels like they need to bring up, either urgently or it's just something smaller that they didn't want to go over or we didn't have time for in the first weekly check-in, they'll talk about it on that second one. So it allows them to feel a lot more comfortable having that even less formal conversation in the second check-in than in the first one. And it's about that balance, right? You want to have an organized structure so that you know what to ask for of them. But you also want to have a little bit of a looser structure sometimes so that you can bond with your team a bit more, so that you can really talk to them like a human, like the human that they are. So once you've got these weekly reports, either if you're writing them or if your employees under you are writing them, you just go over it. On the weekly check-in, you'll say, like usually I start off just saying like, how was your workload this week? How did you feel about this week? 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. I always like to rate out of 10. Just gives you a standardized score. And then I ask them a little bit more in detail about why they feel that way. And then we go over the report. We just go report number 1, what happened? They brief me on whatever happened. They can give me any last minute updates that happened after they finished the weekly report. And then, yeah, that's pretty much the whole meeting. Takes about 20 to 30 minutes, depending. And I also want to add that throughout the week, they should be making this report. Throughout the week, you should be making this report. It shouldn't be something you write like the day before. That's a mistake that I've made multiple times. If you keep pushing it off till the end of the week, then you're going to forget about what happened throughout the week. So every time you end a meeting with someone, anytime you make progress on a big project, you want to add that to the weekly report and then, worry about organizing it later if you feel like you don't have enough time to organize it then. So yeah, that's pretty much it as far as weekly check-ins, weekly reports. Do I have any questions? Which one comes first? So it's chicken or the egg, check-in, or so you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna write the check-in throughout the week, and then they talk about the report, or excuse me, you're gonna write the report throughout the week, and then you're gonna talk about the report on the check-in. You got a question, Joseph?
No, I was going to comment on that question.
Oh, go ahead.
So the check-in would depend on who's it with. Is it you checking in with your team? That would come first. And then based off that, you would then write your report for your check-in call with your creator.
So the report is not on that check-in call. The report is on what happened throughout the past week, and you talk about it on the check-in.
Okay, so you're just doing one check-in call? Or are you doing check-ins with your teams as the operator?
I'm doing check-ins with. Can you rephrase your question? I don't think I understand.
So are you technically doing check-ins with both? You do a check-in with your team members, your sales team, marketing team, all them, and then you do a check-in with your creator after that. It's not necessarily the same day. So
right, yeah.
So your check-ins with your team, you get all the information that happened, everything that went on, and then you create your report based off of that for the week. then you have
Yeah.
your check call with your creator.
Yeah, it's definitely whatever you talk about on those check-ins, you would add those to your reports as well. But it can also be outside of the team check-ins that you have. Yeah, and also like in case, you know, the check-in gets canceled with your team, you'd still have other info to talk to your creator about.
Good.
Cool. Good question. Let me check the chat for any more questions. Okay. Cool. So organizing files. I'm going to show you guys our little drivey drive over here. Boom. So this is our Google Drive. It's pretty neat. I was organizing it yesterday, so you'll notice this little rainbow. It was so messy for the past like months. But I finally just woke up early and I felt like I wanted to do it. So the way that I've done this in the past, and I've just kind of developed this over time. You don't necessarily have to organize it this way, but I just find that this is the best way for me, for my creator, and for the team all around. So you'll notice all of these color-coded documents are for either different teams or different projects. So we've got sales, we've got the SaaS, which is Wingman, we've got operations, which is my shit, we've got miscellaneous stuff, we've got marketing and Gravity, which is like a mastermind that we're planning on hosting. And then we've got the community itself, which is actually, I don't know what's in this one. Oh, right. Yeah. So it's like just everything that goes on in the community. So testimonials or win, or actually that would be the same thing. Testimonials or writing copy or having the merch store, if you saw that folder. And we can go a little bit into some of these folders if you guys want. And then the world tour, which is what we're doing right now. So it's like all the docs of what we're doing. And you'll also notice this little quick access folder. And so with all this organization, especially with the marketing folder, I found because you have so much like raw footage of stuff, and there are so many trackers of stuff that you're trying to find and other documents that you might use on a daily basis, it can get really annoying to, one, when you first organize this, try to find those documents within this organization, and two, just throughout having to click through each folder to find just one document. If there's a document or footage or pictures or something that someone needs on a daily basis, especially your creator, that's why I created the quick access folder. And so this will depend on like crows flying around. This will depend on whatever community you work on, of course. But usually it'll be like the copy tracker. This is like Goose World Tour School IRL stuff. This sales team stuff. Just stuff that is like so high importance and high usage that we just want to have it here so that it's easier to find. And so I have these organized in an actual folder in the drive, but you'll notice this little arrow thing. That means it's like a shortcut. So it takes you to the actual location. I thought there was a way to like find the file location, but I guess not. Yeah, I guess not. Anyway, yeah, and so for these folders as well, these specifically will vary based on the creator, the community itself. So sales is usually pretty common, like any business would need sales. Software, you might not have a software, so you wouldn't need that. Operations is something that I feel like is really important. This also includes, it's fucking crow. This also includes stuff like bookkeeping, finances, stuff like that. And so it would be like SOPs and stuff like that that goes in here. Miscellaneous, you might have this, you might not. These are just kind of like old documents that I didn't want to delete in case we need them. Marketing, you might have a marketing team, you might not. It just kind of depends if you're creator is going down that route, you know, if I would say most people would need it. Gravity, obviously, you wouldn't need it if you don't have a mastermind. Community, you would need it if you're on school, but you could also just keep it under marketing. We like to keep it separate. And then World Tour, obviously, its own separate thing. So let's go into what's something cool we could go into. I know. Let's go into the posts tracker. So this is something I just created yesterday. So it's not very filled out. But I just want to keep all our copy here, so that we know where it's at. We know when it's going to be posted, so nobody's making posts at random times and posting the same thing that someone else already wrote, etc. And so the way that I have this structured, and again, this is something that I developed over time, and I was really annoyed about because nobody talks about what you should put in a tracker, which is why I'm sharing with you guys. What's up, Joseph?
Would you mind making that as a template to share?
Oh yeah, 100%, for sure. I'll do that right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude. School post tracker. And so this is something that you can kind of adapt depending on what you need it for. So this is for school posts specifically. But if it's, say, for YouTube, then you would put like, you know, link to the recording or link to the part in Google Drive that has the video, etc. And maybe like I remember for like AIpreneurs, which is a community I worked for, I created a column that was just for like, I don't know why that happened. It was weird. I created a column just for like the thumbnail. So I would put like thumbnail or planned thumbnail description. I don't know why it's doing that. And then I would just write, and this was for, because I wasn't making the thumbnails, I would write the description and then the VA that we had, a virtual assistant, would make them. So I would write like, I don't know, goose in front of text that says,
XYZ.
XYZ. Yeah, I was going to try to think of something. Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, so you would just do that, and then the VA would make it, and then you would talk to them about it and approve it. And another thing about approvals specifically is like, if you've got a copywriter specifically making the copy, and this also goes for the VA making the thumbnails, you can add a column that says, so for written, you could have whoever's approving it, if it's you or your creator or whoever, copywriting manager or marketing manager or something, approved, and then have it be like a checkbox. Yeah, Google Sheets has been really weird, but okay, I forgot to do how to do it, but there's a way. Like it should be a checkbox here, and you could just check them off once it's approved, and then changes the status to posted once you post it. So I'm gonna delete that because I don't want you guys to see that. But yeah, that should be good. And I'll send that out to the community when I make the recording. Now, yeah, so just to go into a little bit more detail about what's already here. Let's look at this. So school post date, pretty self-explanatory, just the day that you want to post it, and then which community, and then you would say what community you're going to post it in, whose account. This is just like whose account this is being posted from, not who's specifically writing the copy. And then context for post, and you'll see it said other, say in context. This is just kind of to explain why you're posting it and what it's for. Yeah, like you could see in this one, boosting engagement and marketing for Wingman. And so then you would have the copy written, and then you would link it here, and then the post title. Pretty self-explanatory for this stuff. Now, I usually just use notes for like if I run into complications or I want to tell myself that it's like unfinished, like 60% of the way through, just so I can look back to it, see what happened. You can also use this in different ways. Like if you're approving it for your copywriter, you want to put in the notes like, oh, can you edit it here? Or you can just put the note on the document itself, however you want to do it. But basically, you want to plan these out at the beginning of the month. As you'll notice, it's the beginning of April, so I'm trying to plan these out for the rest of the month of what that copy is going to look like. You don't want to do this like as you're writing each copy, because then it just becomes overwhelming, and you just want to have it ready, right? And I know that there's kind of a stigma on school about scheduling posts, but I think this is different because you're not specifically scheduling it. You're just writing it in advance. And so when you finally go to post it at the time, you can look back on it and see, is there anything I want to edit here? Do I still feel like this is good enough copy? And if not, then I can rewrite it. So it's just about being prepared. Do I have any questions so far? Let me check the chat. Oh yeah, I'll go back to MISC. And then why? You can use why if you want. I just feel like context for posts makes me understand it better. Yeah, it's flexible depending on what it's just a personal preference. So going back to the drive, miscellaneous or MISC is just any document that doesn't fall within this other stuff. And so it's just like a bunch of random documents that we had before, and we didn't know what to do with them, or I didn't know what to do with them. This is a bunch of folders from like before we changed to Goosify, like SOPs and stuff like that. And so I just didn't want to delete them because I'm like, I guess, attached to it. I don't know. I'm a huge hoarder. It's hard for me to delete stuff, so I put it here. This stuff, I mean, I'm pretty sure we could delete it and be fine. I just want to make sure we have it just in case. Does that answer your question, Tamsin? Cool. Alrighty, that is pretty much all I have for you guys today. I honestly really enjoy the organization. I didn't even realize like it was literally spring cleaning because it's April. So that's a fun topic for me for some reason. I don't know if you guys like organizing stuff, but when I sit down and do it, it just feels nice. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm gonna post the recording and the template for the school post tracker, as well as the weekly report. I'll find the one that I was looking for, just to make it easier for you guys to have. And then moving forward, we will keep doing this and teach you guys how to be Goosify certified operators. Do I have any questions about today's topic or about Goosify in general, about Wingman, about anything? What about you, Daniel? I haven't heard from you since the beginning. Give me a 1 in the chat. Oh, okay, sweet. Yeah, message me. Can you guys give me all a 1 in the chat if you enjoyed this, or a 2 if you did not? Not about today's topic. Will you guys ever cover outreach? Thank you, Joseph. Will you guys cover outreach or any other method of getting creators? Yes, we will. That's a very important part. So like networking and stuff like that. Well, we don't have like a specific. I don't have a specific date in mind for when we'll talk about that. It could possibly be within the next couple of weeks. It's just kind of hard to plan around with the IRLs and everything because we're also discussing that. So there are a lot of moving pieces to this, but I think that's a very important topic, and possibly next week. We'll see. Daniel, where you at, man? Daniel, we'll just say he enjoyed it. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for joining today. I'm glad to see that you two liked it, and I'll see you later. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
See ya.